Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings. Saturday morning sit down.
And we are back with our Saturday morning sit down, part 2, with Chris Reed, the founder of Black Marketing and CEO as well. Chris, great to have you back on Money FM. It's been a few years, but we always love having you around.
Great to be here, Glenn. I'm Neil.
This topic that we're going to talk to you about today, one that you are eminently qualified to discuss. As we all know now, a couple weeks ago, a post was put up on LinkedIn on a woman, Jani Hujik's site, claiming that she had met the ex-DBS CEO, Piyush Gupta, in Bali at a cafe. They had a picture together, and then the post went on to gush over Piyush Gupta, what a great CEO he was, how he was supporting the charity that this woman was involved in, et cetera, et cetera. Well, long story short, it's not Piyush Gupta. He said he wasn't Piyush Gupta at the time. Piyush Gupta posted on the post. It was not him. And then this woman...
As did the guy.
As did the guy. Yep.
Kumar, yes.
And then the woman finally came back online and said, it was my social media team in the Philippines. They took my picture. They had access to my photo account and my LinkedIn account. They put the whole post together, posted it, and then changed my passwords, and were holding me for $5,000 to then take the post down. That's a whole long intro to this story, but we had to get through some of the basics of it. What do you, first of all, what was your initial impression as you were watching this unfold? Because I know you were watching it unfold.
I did a post immediately saying this is a stunt. This was a stunt by her, because it clearly wasn't Piyush Gupta. Anyone could see that was not Piyush Gupta in a million years.
Right.
So clearly she had made this whole story up, thinking that Piyush Gupta would not then comment and actually correct her, and thought she'd get away with it. She also made the mistake of writing the post by ChatGPT. So it didn't make any sense, because the words that came out to describe Piyush Gupta, he would never say, she would never say, no normal human would ever say it in a million years.
Odd. Yeah.
That was ridiculous. So basically, as soon as that came out, you knew that was going to happen. And then when Piyush came in, and he himself said, this is not me, that's the point where she should really have deleted the post and apologized and said, oh, my mistake. But it actually then turned out that she was told by Mr. Kumar that it was not him immediately. So it should never have even got onto LinkedIn, because LinkedIn should be authentic. It should be you putting yourself out there authentically. Because funnily enough, people can check these facts, especially on LinkedIn, where you need verification.
Especially with famous people.
Precisely. And Piyush Gupta has like 200,000 followers on LinkedIn, and is quite famous on LinkedIn, and is known to actually comment. He's commented on some of my posts sometimes, for example, because he will put that finger on the pulse side of things, because he is very authentic on there. So whatever way you looked at it, she should never have posted that, and when she did, she should have apologized.
So much to unpack. Let's go through my bugbear first. AI. Why are people, herself including, using AI in any capacity to write their blurbs, captions, comments, when it's so obvious to anybody that ChatGPT or any of the other AI platforms are clearly involved?
Not even taking the time to edit it, right?
No.
Go with that first, the AI part.
The irony is that she's a PR woman. She does communications, supposedly, with their communications firm. And you will know, you can't just give it to ChatGPT to do it. You should never use ChatGPT for answer comments. You should never use ChatGPT to write your posts, because it will not sound like you. The whole point of LinkedIn is that your personal brand has to sound like you. If it doesn't sound like you, you shouldn't be actually using it. But the problem is LinkedIn has actually encouraged people to use AI with their prompts all the time going, use this, use this. And it's like, we tell clients and people never ever to use that. We never use AI. I never use AI, because it doesn't sound like me. It doesn't sound like our clients. So if you want to be authentic, and this comes back to the whole reason why this post fell down, is it did not sound like her. Immediately red flags were going off, going, nobody would actually say those words. It was just ridiculous.
In this case, on that post, she claimed after this whole situation that she had a financial arrangement with this staff member in the Philippines.
Freelancer. It was a freelancer,
excuse me, for every like that
they
she
pay
got.
Like an extra
they pay $1
cents.
or something.
Yeah,
$1, right?
Oh, $1. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
She got like 5,000 likes, and so this person was saying, you owe me $5,000, and I'm not going to take the post down. This was what she said. We have no way to verify that this was actually what happened. But, have you heard of that kind of blackmail?
No,
by
that was clearly made up. It was clearly she made an arrangement with a freelancer. This was not part of a team or a company. It was a freelancer in the Philippines, which she found, and no freelancer or no company of their worth anything at all would get paid per like.
So they were dodgy to begin with.
You would not be paid per like in a million years. You get paid a fee. You get paid per project. You don't get paid per like, because obviously, what does that encourage? That encourages people to put out absolute rubbish that just goes viral for no reason, has no value. It's not about likes and views on LinkedIn. It's about quality and quality of engagement. So that, I think she made that up, or I think she got into trouble and thought it wouldn't have got so many likes going forwards. And once that happened, it went forward. But the point is, it should never have got to that stage to start off with, because you should never have authorized that post to go out there.
Just to follow up, she said that she had given this person her logins and her all this sort of stuff, and then the person changed the logins. I mean, that's possible. I mean, that is theoretically possible. That
what
could
isn't
happen.
possible, Glenn, is actually the woman in the Philippines knowing who Piyush Gupta was, because funnily enough, Filipinos don't know the banks of CEOs of Singapore, just like you and I don't know the Filipino bank CEOs. You know, so there's no way that she did this by herself. She was clearly told to do it, and when it went viral, she went, "Oh my God, I've got to pay her $5,000 now." And maybe they had a disagreement then, and then she went to the caves in Vietnam, and that's another thing doesn't add up. If your post is going viral, you do not take a holiday to Vietnam for a week
and go offline.
So precisely go offline. You cancel that holiday and deal with the repercussions. You don't wait a week to build up, because then of course the Go Chok Tong charity thing happened when she was called out for misrepresenting the charity, which is actually fraud. If she was taking money on behalf of the charity and the charity have come out and said she was not authorized to do that, that's fraud. And that was the point. She finally took the post down and hid all her profiles. But it should never have come to that. I mean, you should never misrepresent any clients, let alone a charity, let alone the Go Chok Tong charity. I mean, that was just appalling.
But isn't this where, Chris, some quality control needs to come in on what people post? Now, I see both sides. Glenn often says, look, LinkedIn is for a certain kind of person. You should post a certain kind of thing. I'm 50-50 on that. I still believe freedom of speech. Like I said before, if I want to say on LinkedIn, I had a lovely cup of tea this morning, it's up to me. But people will just ignore it.
No,
that's
they won't. They'll love it.
Whatever it is. But my point is, it's peak LinkedIn because some of the drivel now. I've satirized LinkedIn. I've written columns mocking LinkedIn. There is literally nothing they can't find a connection to themselves about, right? So I met a guy today. He had blue hair. It reminds me of when I had that blue day. Have you had a blue day? If you've had a blue day.
In business, you can
help me. I've got a 6-week plan about dealing with mental stress. They could take any nonsense and shoehorn it back to their company. What's your view or response to that, or even advice on that?
Again, you shouldn't do that. I mean, as you can say, it may have been all right 10, 15 years ago, but not now, because it has become a parody. It has become a satire. There was the one last year about the wedding, and it turned out it was purely, I got married. This is my honeymoon. And this reminds me of the 3 business mistakes that people make, about getting married and doing business. And it was clearly made up and clearly just designed to be a parody and to actually generate likes and comments. Now, it comes back to authenticity. LinkedIn should be about authenticity. And if it's not, just unfollow that person. Make sure you don't see that post, because you can't have a go at them for doing it, because they'll just go and do it for somebody else instead. So it comes back to you being your true self and actually representing yourself. So when you post, Neil, it's representative of you. I can tell it's you. It has your dry wit in there. When Glenn has a different style. So you're right. Each of us have different personal brands on LinkedIn, represent ourselves differently, but it comes back being authentic. None of us use AI, and none of us are making lessons out of ridiculous things going forward. So that's the whole point.
So it sounds like you agree with me slightly that if I really do want to say I just had a cup of tea today, you're okay with that, because Glenn isn't. Glenn is like, it should be business for business people.
I do it all the time. If you see my posts, I do it all the time. Probably 90% of my posts are actually not about my business. They're actually about Singapore or about metal concerts or about something else.
Yeah, but it's okay. So Chris, you and I worked together maybe 10 years ago. Your team first, went through my profile, and you posted maybe about 6 months or so, I think, as I recall, 3 months, 6 months. And it was right around the time I was doing my master's degree in digital media management, and I did my final project on LinkedIn social selling. So it wasn't a thesis, but it was a final project. And we had very, very, I thought, very clear conversations, you and I, about if you're going to post on things, make sure there's some value that you're adding, right? And so if it's something about, Neil, a book tour or my media training, whatever it is, make sure there's a point to it that somebody could actually get some value from it. And what I'm seeing today is I went to the hospital. Here's all of the diagnostics on what was wrong with me. I had surgery, and God bless them. I hope they get well soon and all that. No, I don't mean them any harm. But I'm saying, of all the different social platforms there are, I don't want to see any of this stuff on LinkedIn because LinkedIn for me is around business. And it always has been. And it used to originally be only about people finding jobs.
Correct.
Remember that?
Correct.
About 15 years ago, right?
Correct.
People didn't want to go on it because it was just people looking for jobs.
Yeah.
But then it went into the social selling kind of phase of business that was useful news you could use kind of thing. Now it's just going the opposite way. And I just feel like telling people, you know what? Go back to Facebook or go back to wherever.
I'll just say one thing. Isn't it the point, though? Let's call it what it is. It's hustling. LinkedIn's only purpose is to make money.
Correct.
It's not there to make friends or post pictures of their holidays.
I don't disagree.
It's there to get work, get business, build your brand.
I don't disagree, but where the shift is happening from my perspective is it's people just doing that and not offering anything of value. It's okay, if you're saying, hey, 10 ways that you can become an author.
They don't have to, because people buy people, Dan. Don't forget, people buy people. So if Neil posts about having a cup of tea, basically that's fine. We go, you have a cup of tea. I like tea as well. Well, let's go out for a cup of tea. It doesn't have to be like hard sell all the time. In fact, the more times you hard sell on LinkedIn, the more people actually get pulled off.
I think there's a difference between hard sell and social selling.
Yeah.
I definitely think there is. And the other post that gets me is sitting in your business class seat on Singapore Airlines, hashtag living my best life. Yes, you are guilty, Chris. Come on,
If I see it one more time, we get it. You like SIA.
Stop it.
And your wife works for them. We get it.
No. But my point was you use miles. No, I don't. That's the whole point. I use miles. The point of that I was saying about use miles. Also, I said the point that you don't dress up on a business class flight or even in suites. I said you should just be yourself. Again, go back to authenticity. You should be yourself on a Singapore Airlines flight. Because there was a post that somebody said you should wear a suit on a flight because you might meet someone. I was like, no. You don't meet someone on a 14-hour flight.
You haven't worn a suit in 30 years.
Okay,
so come on.
We're getting comments. If you want comments for Chris,
go for it.
Good luck trying to get a word in, but WhatsApp 88550893. Miguel says, "Hi Chris, I was once invited to a founder LinkedIn group that sounded legit. I soon learned that it was a pod, a group where people mutually agree to prop up each other's posts with comments and likes. I didn't know about this. I know this happens a lot on Instagram and Facebook. How common are pods on LinkedIn?" This is the first time hearing of this.
No, extremely.
What are they?
So this is where I get approached every day for this, basically. And I'm surprised you guys haven't been. So when people approach you and say, look, we have a WhatsApp group, and we basically, when a post comes out, we will basically message each other saying, like and comment on this, and this is what you have to say within 5 minutes of the post going up. They're trying to gamify it. Now, LinkedIn obviously tries to ban pods, but there's lots of people out there trying to do it. And but you can see it. Again, goes back to authenticity. Some of the biggest players in LinkedIn in Singapore use pods. And they use pods, and you can see they're using pods as well. You and I both know some of who these people are, because the comments make no sense whatsoever. And the comments don't even bear resemblance to the actual post itself. And they're coming from people who don't even know this person. They're just literally commenting because that person will then comment on their post when they post. So basically, it's a gamification. You should never, ever join a pod. So basically, but pods are a disease on LinkedIn like they are in other places, and you should never join them and never basically encourage other people to use them either.
Wow, I didn't even know there were such things. Did you?
No one's asked me to be in a pod. Now I've got some FOMO against not having been worthy enough of being a pod. What about the LinkedIn Voices thing is gone, right?
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing was also gamified, but it was ruined by AI.
Just explain what that was.
It was ruined by AI. So basically, there's lots of voices on LinkedIn.
Top voice.
Yeah, there's a top voice where basically LinkedIn decide you're very woke, basically, so I will never ever get it, even though I get more engagement than all the top voices in Singapore does, for example, because I'm too controversial. Right. I'm too thought-provoking. Yeah. So you have lots of woke people. They tend to be more women, for example. They tend to be gay. They tend to be basically not basically people like Mike Winnett, for example, or me, people who are actually creating positive and engagement out there. So there was that one, that still exists. There was a community one which was ruined by AI. Because what would happen is that basically AI on LinkedIn would say, Neil, let's talk about gaming, for example. And basically you would say, oh, well, I don't know anything about gaming. And then basically you would go to ChatGPT and put the answer into it. And then LinkedIn would say, well, you're an expert on gaming now, Neil. And then people in the gaming industry would have gone, but Neil's not an expert on gaming. And they got so many complaints, they had to remove the community within basically 6 months. But the problem is some people on LinkedIn have still got that on their headline. It still says top voice. And you look at their profile, they're no longer a top voice, but they're desperately clinging on to it.
Well, that was going to be my question.
In fairness, you never saw me play Pac-Man.
But then you weren't alive 40 years ago. Exactly. So top voice is gone, but the other one stayed?
The blue one's basically still around, but it's not really given out anymore. That's basically just given to people. It's just called top voice, but it's just given to people basically because LinkedIn like them or because someone pays them basically. If you're basically, if you spend enough money on LinkedIn, you can basically buy a top voice. So that's why it's also worthless. It's not based on any actual measurements. It's certainly not based on anything you can actually see.
So there used to be someone still could be a top voice.
Oh yeah, there's still top voices in Singapore. But the problem is that it's not based on engagement. If you look at most of the top voices in the world, you look at their posts, they don't post and they don't get any engagement. I'm going, well, how can you be a top voice if you don't post?
Right.
So the definition is you have to post to become a top voice. He tells us that it. Yeah. But it's because they're in the right industry at the right time or know the right person. It's not based on any metrics, which comes back to authenticity again. The best people on LinkedIn are the ones who get organic engagement because they post interesting stuff like Neil does, for example, or you do, or I do, for example. And it's authentically, the customers out there, the viewers out there will decide whether your post is good or not. They will determine whether they want to comment or not. It will live or die based on the quality of your work, and that's how it should be.
All right, then, the Inspector Lowe of LinkedIn, give our listeners some tips.
See how he brought that back to himself?
Always. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
That's your 32 books.
That's Pete Humphreys right there.
That's how you do it. What are they looking for? How are they sniffing out the frauds? What are like the telltale signs, the red flags, whatever?
Obviously an incomplete profile, only having a few connections, being the CEO of a company, which basically they clearly could not be the CEO of a company. You get approached by the CEO of Citibank in New York, and she's like a 19-year-old girl from China. I'm like, really? And, so you can basically spot them immediately. And LinkedIn nowadays, they do have verification. So all three of us are verified, for example. So you go out there, you say, you are verified. So LinkedIn, at least they know, unlike other platforms, that's the real person. And I would say, going back to your earlier point, it's like why people are now posting more things on LinkedIn is because it's a safe environment, Glenn. I'm not on any other platform. Now there are any of our clients, we're not on any other platform at all. We're only on LinkedIn because it's a safe environment where you can engage with professionals. You can see who somebody is. You can also see who you both know. And you can also see who they work for. Yeah. So people are more reluctant to then get into an argument or basically be anonymous or be abusive like they would be on Facebook or Twitter or other platforms. And that's a great thing. Again, comes back to authenticity and about being verified.
All right. What are the 2 or 3 things you've been talking about this for decades now? How many books you have? I don't even know.
Only 4. I'm 28 behind him.
But as someone's posting now, what are the few things they should be focusing on? And I also want to talk about length of posts because I'm seeing some of these posts are 1,000 words now.
You know why? ChatGPT. Since ChatGPT came in, the length of posts on LinkedIn have gone up to basically 500 words.
Unbelievable. So what's the ideal number? Because I think most of the posts I'm seeing are way too long.
Short. Yes, short.
A couple hundred words?
Basically between a couple of hundred and 400 words is ideal. And if you're doing 500 words, maybe you're taking an article, for example, you're putting your point of view across, that's ideal. Use one photograph. You don't put 79 photographs from an event that people didn't actually go to, and people are trying to work out what these events actually are. Right. You're guilty of that. Sometimes you post like 15 photographs and expect people to go through them.
But see, I don't care. So that's the difference. I genuinely don't care.
No hashtags. Hashtags are dead on LinkedIn. This is a positive thing for AI. Now AI can actually determine whether your post is suitable to be shared amongst the local community, for example, based on the content, because people were spamming and were using hashtags for the wrong reason. Now LinkedIn does not care about hashtags. And I read recently that Instagram also got away with it because people basically were abusing them. So it's all about basically, again, being authentic.
Can I add
writing content?
Can I add? Take something which is people looking at your stuff, but give something as well?
Yes, correct.
In the social media, in the social selling environment?
But also create engagement.
Something using?
Create engagement. Like, talk about local politics, talk about local events, talk about local things, because your posts are shared locally. They're not shared beyond that unless they go viral. So it's all about giving value, finding something which is interesting.
Provocative one to finish. All of this peaked LinkedIn nonsense. Will LinkedIn survive?
Of course, it's owned by Microsoft. It basically doesn't make...
In terms of credibility, it's not going anywhere physically, but will it survive in terms of its credibility?
Oh, absolutely, because there is no other platform, as Glenn's pointed out. There is no other business platform out there, no other professional people out there, and people are getting sick of the other platforms being too politicalized, too basically vicious, too anonymized, too basically bullying. LinkedIn is a relatively safe environment in which people can post and can engage, and that's what the beauty of
just that
LinkedIn
people
is.
are giving too much information, TMI, on their own personal lives.
Yes.
Folks, bring it back to business and give us useful business intelligence information.
I'm going to disagree again.
If you're going to have a cup of tea, that's fine. But I don't want to hear...
Van Zutphen does not have the right to police what goes on LinkedIn more than anybody else.
I just don't want to hear about your appendectomy.
Then block them. Block them.
But sometimes they say things that are interesting. That's the challenge.
It could be a very interesting colonoscopy. You don't know, do you?
Never met a colonoscopy you didn't like, did you?
Exactly.
Chris Reed, founder of Black Media, CEO.
Black Marketing.
Black Marketing, excuse me. Black
Your
Marketing. A rare sighting of you off Sentosa Island. Thank you. We do appreciate you coming to Topayo.
Did you bring your passports?
I bought my passport just in case I can't get back.
Yeah. Altitude pills and all that.
What's next for you, Chris?
Basically, Metallica, obviously, seeing Metallica. Can't wait to see Metallica.
Are they coming back?
To Australia. They're
Australia,
not going to come to Singapore in a million years, but, they're coming to Australia.
I was at the last show here in Singapore.
That was basically, they played 2019 many, many years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
But, metal shows in general, shows should be supported in Singapore. Phil's Studio is a great place. You want to basically see a metal show, go to Phil's Studio.
My daughter's playing there.
Brilliant.
My daughter is singing at Phil's Studio.
Fantastic. It's a brilliant local entrepreneur trying to support local music.
Yes.
And includes basically bringing in metal bands from overseas. I've seen about 4 or 5 metal bands there. Absolutely fantastic. Really close atmosphere, intimate, brilliant acoustics. It's got a bar there as well, which things like Annex, the Esplanade hasn't, for example, which is madness. Like, how do you have a metal concert without a bar? So it's brilliant. So when are you going for your concert, your daughter's concert?
I don't know the date right now, but I'll let you know.
Well, you can plug it.
Yes.
Is it metal? Is it a metal
No,
concert?
of course not.
Well, it's School of Rock, no?
Chris Reed, Black Marketing. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Great to see you again.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.